Hi, I'm Lorelai. For most of my 17 years, I thought I knew what family meant. Sure, my parents favored my older sister Vanessa, but I never imagined they'd leave me stranded on a dark highway just because she wanted more legroom. Dad, I can't feel my legs anymore, Vanessa whined as we drove back from Grandma's house. Lorelai's taking up too much space. I'm staying on my side, I said, showing the invisible line between us. See, I'm not even crossing the middle. Dad glanced at us through the rearview mirror. Lorelai, stop antagonizing your sister. I'm not doing anything. Mom turned around, her face pinched with annoyance. Why do you always have to argue? Just give Vanessa some space. But there isn't any more space, I protested. We're in a car. Vanessa dramatically stretched her legs across the middle seat. Dad, I can't take this anymore. My legs are cramping. Can't we do something? We're still an hour from home, Dad said, sighing heavily. What do you expect me to do? She could sit in the trunk, Vanessa suggested with a smirk. Very funny, I muttered. Mom exchanged a look with Dad. We could let her out at the next rest stop and come back for her later. My jaw dropped. What? You can't be serious. It's only for a little while, Dad said, already signaling to pull over. You're actually considering this? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Vanessa smiled smugly. It's just for an hour. Don't be so dramatic. Pull over here. Mom pointed to a shoulder on the highway. Not even a proper rest stop. You've got to be kidding me, I said as Dad stopped the car. It's dark out there. Just wait by that mile marker, Dad instructed. We'll circle back after we drop Vanessa at home. This is insane. You can't leave me here. I clutched my seat as Dad reached back to open my door. It's just for a little while, Mom repeated, not even looking at me. We'll be back soon. Take your phone, Dad said, practically pushing me out. Call if there's any trouble. Before I could fully process what was happening, I was standing on the gravel shoulder watching our sedan pull away, Vanessa waving mockingly from the back window. I immediately tried calling Dad, but my phone showed no signal. I was truly alone in the dark. 2 hours later, soaked from unexpected rain and shivering, I was rescued by Officer Elena Torres, who spotted me while patrolling the highway. What are you doing out here alone? She asked, concern evident in her voice. When I explained, her expression hardened. They left you here? Deliberately? I nodded, tears finally breaking through. They said they'd come back, but... Officer Torres helped me into her patrol car. This is abandonment of a minor. It's a serious offense. They're my parents, I whispered. They wouldn't just forget me. Let's get you somewhere safe, she said firmly. Then we'll sort this out. At the station, my phone finally connected to Wi-Fi. 3 missed calls from home, followed by a text from Vanessa. Mom says stop being dramatic and find your way home. Dad's too tired to drive back out. That's when I knew. This wasn't a mistake. They had left me behind on purpose. The next morning, sitting in a small office at Child Protective Services, I recounted everything to my caseworker, Miss Perez. Your parents are claiming it was a misunderstanding, Miss Perez said, reviewing her notes. They say you chose to get out of the car during an argument. That's a lie, I said, my voice shaking. They made me get out because Vanessa wanted more space. They promised to come back. Do you have any way to prove that? She asked gently. I thought for a moment. My phone. I tried calling them right after they left. The calls didn't go through because of bad reception, but they'd be in my call log. Miss Perez nodded. That helps establish timeline, but we need more. My temporary guardian, Aunt Claire, Mom's estranged sister, who'd been called in as my emergency contact, sat beside me. What about the security cameras at the gas station half a mile back? Would they have caught anything? Possibly. Miss Perez made a note. I'll have someone check. I can't believe Rebecca and David would do this, Aunt Claire said, shaking her head. I know we've had our differences, but abandoning their child? Vanessa always gets what she wants, I explained. She's the golden child. Has anything like this happened before? Miss Perez asked. Not this bad, but I hesitated. Last year, they left me at a mall for 3 hours because Vanessa's dance recital ran long. They forgot they'd dropped me off to shop for a birthday gift. And you didn't mention this? Aunt Claire looked shocked. They convinced me it was just a mix-up, I admitted. But now I'm not so sure. My phone buzzed with a text from my best friend, Zach. Your sister's telling everyone you ran away for attention. Call me. I showed Miss Perez, who frowned. May I see your other messages? I scrolled to Vanessa's text from last night and handed the phone back. This is very helpful, Miss Perez said. What about social media? Has your sister posted anything about this incident? I pulled up Vanessa's Instagram, where she'd posted a selfie last night with the caption, Finally have the backseat to myself. #blessed only child vibes. The timestamp, Aunt Claire pointed out. That's less than 30 minutes after they would have left you. I'd like to speak with your friend Zach, Miss Perez said. He might have heard things from your sister or others. He'll help, I nodded. He never liked how my family treated me. Lorelei, Aunt Claire said cautiously. Your parents have been calling me nonstop, demanding I bring you home. They're threatening legal action against me. They can't do that, Miss Perez interjected. We have an active investigation. My phone rang, Dad calling. I answered on speaker. Lorelei, this ridiculous drama ends now, he barked. You're embarrassing the family. Come home and we'll forget this happened. You left me on the highway at night, I said, my voice stronger than I expected. You didn't come back. We came back, he lied. You were gone. We drove up and down that highway for hours. That's not true, I replied. My call log shows I tried reaching you immediately, and the police have traffic camera footage of the area. There was a pause. This is all being blown out of proportion because of your stories. Your mother is devastated. Is she? I asked. Or is she just worried about what people will think? He lowered his voice. If you push this, it will not end well for you. Think about your future. Are you threatening her? Aunt Claire interrupted. Who is this? Claire? You've always been a troublemaker. Stay out of our family business. Your family business became my business when you abandoned your daughter on a highway, Aunt Claire fired back. This isn't over, Dad said before hanging up. Miss Perez finished writing. That call was illuminating, and with your permission, we'd like to examine your phone for further evidence. I handed it over without hesitation. Take whatever you need. I want them to face what they did. 3 days later, seated in a conference room at the CPS office, I faced my family across the table. Vanessa looked bored, Mom seemed tearful, and Dad wore his courtroom face, the one he used when trying to intimidate people. This meeting is to discuss next steps, explained Miss Perez, sitting beside me and Aunt Claire. The evidence supports Lorelei's account of events. What evidence? Dad scoffed. A teenager's story? Officer Torres, who'd been standing by the door, stepped forward. Traffic camera footage confirms your vehicle stopped where Lorelei described, at the time she described. It shows someone exiting the rear passenger side, and the vehicle continuing. The same cameras show no return trip within the next 4 hours. Mom's fake tears dried up instantly. That doesn't prove we intended to leave her. Your text messages do, said Miss Perez, sliding copies across the table. As do your daughter Vanessa's social media posts. Those are private, Vanessa snapped. Not when submitted as evidence in a child endangerment case, Officer Torres replied. Dad leaned forward. Look, we made a mistake. We got caught up in an argument and made a poor decision. We're her parents. We have rights. And Lorelei has the right not to be abandoned on a highway at night, Aunt Claire countered. You've always been jealous of our family, Mom spat at her sister. You're loving this, aren't you? This isn't about me, Aunt Claire replied calmly. It's about Lorelei's safety. Lorelei, Dad softened his tone, looking directly at me. Honey, we're so sorry. We never meant for things to go this far. You know we love you. Like you loved me when you drove away? I asked. Or when you decided you were too tired to come back for me? We did come back, Mom insisted. The traffic cameras say otherwise, Officer Torres reminded her. This is all your fault, Vanessa hissed at me. You always have to make everything about you. I was standing in the rain for 2 hours, I shot back. How is that making it about me? You could have called someone else. Vanessa rolled her eyes. You just wanted to cause problems. There was no cell service. Convenient, she sneered. That's enough, Miss Perez intervened. The fact remains that Lorelei was abandoned in a dangerous situation. Dad's facade cracked. What exactly do you want, Lorelei? Money? Your own room? A car? Name it, and let's put this unfortunate incident behind us. I stared at him in disbelief. I want you to admit what you did. I want Vanessa to stop lying about me. I want you to face consequences for once in your lives. We said we're sorry, Mom cried. What more do you want? Sorry doesn't change what happened, I said quietly. You left me on the side of the road like I was nothing. You chose Vanessa's comfort over my safety. You've always been difficult, Mom snapped, her true colors showing. Always complaining, always needing attention. Rebecca, Aunt Claire gasped. It's true, Mom continued. Nothing is ever enough for her. Vanessa appreciates what we do. Lorelei just takes and takes. I think we've heard enough, Officer Torres said, signaling to someone outside the door. What's happening? Dad demanded, as 2 more officers entered. David and Rebecca Jensen, you're being charged with child endangerment and abandonment, Officer Torres stated formally. You have the right to remain silent. This is outrageous, Dad shouted, standing up. I'm a respected attorney. You can't do this. Dad, stop! Vanessa looked terrified for the first time. As the officers continued reading their rights, Dad lunged across the table toward me. You ungrateful little... Officer Torres caught him mid-motion, restraining him. Adding assault to those charges now? Mom began sobbing. Real tears this time. Vanessa sat frozen, her perfect world crumbling. I watched, feeling nothing but relief. For the first time in years, someone was standing up for me. All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Michaels presiding. 6 weeks after that confrontation, I sat in a family court beside Aunt Claire. My parents looked diminished across the aisle, their usual confidence replaced by nervous glances. Judge Michaels addressed me directly after reviewing the case. Lorelei, would you like to add anything before I make my ruling? I stood, papers trembling in my hand. Your Honor, all my life, I tried to be the daughter they wanted, quiet, undemanding, invisible when convenient. That night on the highway showed me that no matter how small I made myself, it would never be enough. I don't want revenge. I just want safety. My parents offered their rehearsed apologies, claiming they'd changed and wanted me home. Judge Michaels was unmoved. Having considered all evidence, I find the actions of David and Rebecca Jensen constituted reckless endangerment of a minor. Their attempts to mislead authorities compound this finding. She awarded custody to Aunt Claire with supervised visitation at our discretion. My parents were sentenced to counseling, community service, and financial obligations for my therapy and education. But, Your Honor, Dad began. Furthermore, the judge continued firmly, the court recognizes the toxic family dynamic that led to this situation. Particular note is made of the preferential treatment shown to the older child at Lorelei's expense. Outside the courtroom, my parents made one last attempt. Lorelei, please, Mom begged, don't do this to our family. The court has ruled, Aunt Claire said, stepping between us. Can we at least talk to her? Dad asked. No, I stated clearly. I have nothing to say to you. This isn't forever, right? Mom asked desperately. You'll come home eventually? I met her gaze. That place stopped being home the moment you drove away without me. Your sister misses you, Dad tried. She's sorry too. Is she? Or is she sorry she got caught? Later that evening, Aunt Claire and I sat on her balcony, watching the sunset. Your mom called again, she said. She wants to know if you'll meet with Vanessa. Not yet, I replied. Maybe someday, but I'm not ready. My phone buzzed with a text from Vanessa. They're making me go to therapy because of you. Thanks for ruining everything. I showed Aunt Claire, who sighed. Some people take longer to learn. Or never learn at all, I added, deleting the message without replying. How are you feeling about everything? She asked. Relieved? Sad? Stronger, maybe? I looked at the darkening sky. For years, I thought if I just tried harder, they'd love me like they loved Vanessa. Now I know that wasn't the problem. I keep thinking about that night, watching their taillights disappear, I said quietly. I was so scared. But now I realize that was the moment I stopped being afraid of losing them. Because you realized you could survive without them, Aunt Claire nodded. Exactly. I smiled genuinely. I survived, and now I get to decide what happens next. Have you ever had to let go of someone you thought would always be there for you? Sometimes, standing alone in the dark is the first step toward finding your way into the light.